Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Welcome to the Going to Killing City podcast, a historical look at murder in Kansas City. Here are your hosts, Jamie Green and Alex Greenwood.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Episode 6, Going to Killing City. We are back. It seems like these months sneak up on us, Alex. It doesn't feel like it's been a month, but it has.
No, it doesn't. And particularly, and I'll tell you the main reason it doesn't feel that way for me either is because people keep talking to me about this show.
Good. Who's talking? Let's hear about it.
I had just seen some friends who we had not had dinner with in literally a year, and they were like, "Oh my God, that new thing you're doing." Now, listeners, if you're new to the show, you know that you don't know that I've done for years another show that this person's never really pretended to listen to, but then I start doing this true crime show, the brainchild of my evil twin Jamie Green, and she's just like, I'm all over that. And then I've had other people continue to go, when's the new one coming out? When's it coming out? It's taking forever. Something wrong with my podcast stream. I'm like, no, it's a monthly for now.
You pay us enough, we'll do it weekly.
Oh my gosh. Though, and I know we can't do this probably because you're traveling, and I'm not going to dox you and what you're doing. That's your business to say. But it's a shame. I don't think we thought ahead enough to do kind of a Halloween episode.
No, we should have thought about that, but no, I actually haven't. I know what I'm going to do for next month. That's because we got to have the teaser at the end, so I know what I'm doing, and it's not really Halloween, but we'll figure it out.
Very scary, kids. Very scary.
That's right.
Also, if I could just also log roll one more thing, too.
Sure.
Mysterious Goings On Season 12 kicked off today, the day we're recording it. It's not the day you're listening to it. And our guest was Joe West, a St. Louis-based author, a very gritty urban fiction guy. One of the best interviews I've ever had the pleasure of being part of, this one. Joe West, it's on Mysterious Goings On, mgopod.com. And on September 7th, on that day, PR After Hours Season 8 debuts with a few other interesting business tidbits. So thanks for letting me log roll there, buddy.
No, very good. I've got, Trading Force continues. So I am going to take off I'm taking like December off, though. It's getting crazy. So, but I've got a couple of really cool people coming up. So
are we taking off in December?
Oh, I thought we were going to do a Christmas episode. Are we doing?
I want to. Well, that's what I'm.
We're going to do that one in person.
I'll come over here, or you. I mean, I'll come over here, or you'll come over there. Well, we can flip it. Whatever you want to do. I always do up my bar for Christmas, just so you know.
That'd be cool. I'd love it. No, we should. And I just got over the COVID, so I can't give you that because I'm back to normal. So.
And you can cut this out, but maybe the listeners want to now look, I used to do a live show from this bar. We could stream it live too. We could record it and stream it live. It could be fun.
I love it. Once again, I will put in the show notes we have an email address, and all we got is people trying to sell us shit so far. So if you're a person listening, I know people are listening. I've seen the numbers. Just say hello. I don't want to always get somebody just trying to sell me something about how to have a podcast. I think we've got that figured out.
Well, we would be thrilled to do shout outs with questions or just saying hi. We'll say, as much of your name and as you wish. Like it could be Steve S. from Overland Park. Thanks for listening. Lucas H. from Evansville, Indiana. Thanks for flipping us off. Whatever it is you're doing, we would love to have it.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Have we had any? We got 5 or so good reviews. I don't know. Last time I looked was a day or two ago.
5, I have some good news for you before we start.
Oh my.
La Pistolera is now our most popular episode. It's overtaken Bob Berdella, so you should sleep a little better at night.
I thank whatever universe, whatever. But did I say it on the show or just to you personally the other day? I felt very bad that was the one that was in the lead. And I have renewed faith in Kansas City's taste for gore and strange violence.
The Swope one is it's going to overtake Bob pretty soon, like in a day or two. It's very close. So it's all good.
The Swope one, I've had a lot of comments. People are like, it's the same thing I said to you. I had no idea. And everybody was like, I thought Hyde Park was that guy for a while. It was all that stuff. It was so great. So great. Good job on that one. Really good job on that one.
All right. So we're going to talk before we delve in. Once again, if you don't know the construct of the show, either you're a first-time listener or a dope. But I'm going to tell you it again because it's fun.
Or maybe they've been drinking.
Maybe they have. So the idea is the person that is hosting, which is Alex this month, gives a hint. And then I have to come up with the killer cocktail, and then we switch it the next month. So this month, it was a very esoteric no-tell hotel. That's all I got, people. I didn't get much.
Holiday Inn.
So here's my thought process, because I was like, well, what do I want to do with it? And I know you love this movie, too. I love the scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobile at the end when they're just drinking a little in the mini bar.
Yeah.
And they're just hanging out, having a good time. So I was like, well, maybe I kind of do riff. So what I decided to do was like, well, and you and I both have traveled for work.
Oh, yeah.
And we have both been in a hotel room when we didn't want to be there, much rather be home. And so you go down to the hotel bar, right? And one of the things that you're going to do is you're not going to throw a curveball to the guy that's working at the Holiday Inn or the Hampton Inn or whatever. You're going to make a pretty rudimentary drink. So I was thinking, we haven't really did we do any rum drink? I don't think we've done a rum drink. So I was like, I could see a rum and Coke, but we can't just do rum and Coke. So this month's
boring.
It's the Lounge Lizard.
Yeah, man.
Because you're going to hang out in a hotel bar, have a drink. We will put in the show notes. So basically all it is make it a little better. It's dark rum, 1.5 ounces dark rum, half an ounce of amaretto liqueur. And then some soda, 4 to 6 ounces of a Coke, and then you put a cherry in it. It's a yummy drink, but I was like, I would not order some crazy drink at the hotel in I don't know, Fort Wayne, Indiana, because I'd fuck it up. So that was my thought process.
Can I just say, I was in St. Louis doing that author event at the library, and I was staying at a modest hotel nearby, and I asked them, because this is my drink of drinks, I wanted a martini, and I thought, how can they mess this up? It's real simple. Gin, a little hint of vermouth, and either a twist of lemon or some olives. I bet on olives because, why make them cut fruit if they don't want to? Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't get it right. I just decided to drink it. And can I say my pet peeve real quick? Dirty. You know what? Martini. Unless I say dirty, do not dump a whole jar of pickle brine in my drink, because it will come back at you, and not being handed to you gingerly. I will throw it at the mirror behind the bar. All right, sorry, I had to say that. No,
I totally get it. So, Lounge Lizard is the drink. It is a very simple drink, but it's tasty. It's a good one. You probably, I don't know if they're going to have amaretto at the Holiday Inn, but if they don't, you can still get a rum and Coke. But that's what is this month, because I didn't get much, so that's what I went. So, no hotel. I'm looking forward to this one. You gotta tell me what's going on.
I did get much. That's his way of saying, hey, come on, man, help a brother out. Okay, message received. All right, well, let's do this. All right, let me set the scene for you. All right, and I know you've heard of this one. Wait till it gets into it, and feel free to interrupt.
If Kelly knows the guy, I'm really gonna freak the fuck out. Okay.
Knowing Kelly and I doubt it.
Okay.
Just let's put it there. So here we go. All right, let me set the scene. January 2nd, 1935. I don't think she knows the guy. Yeah, all right. Not. A man walks into the lobby of the Hotel President in Kansas City. He introduces himself as Roland T. Owen, and he takes a room 1046 to be exact. With just a toothbrush, a hairbrush, and toothpaste as his luggage, he was far from your regular traveler. And the Hotel President, for this person, becomes a sort of Hotel California for the unfortunate soul of Artemis Ogletree.
This is where I have the music cue. Remind me to put the music cue right in there.
We need a theremin right now.
Oh, I would love to have a theremin.
That's the one thing I expected you would have, like a pedal. Or can you do a wah-wah pedal that makes...
Oh, I could totally do the wah-wah pedal. We'll do that.
Oh, my God. Yeah. All right, a little background for you non-KC people and for you KC people about the Hotel President. One of my favorite hotels, by the way. I'm going to just straight up, for the Drum Room alone, which is a great bar. All right. Have you ever played the Drum Room, my friend?
I have not, but Frank Sinatra has.
Oh, Blue Eyes.
Count Basie. Duke Ellington, they all played there, man. It's a cool
all
space.
The legends. The legends. It's beautiful. You ought to check it out. Okay, it was built and completed in 1926 by Niagara Falls businessman Frank Dudley, and operated by the United Hotels Company. It was built in a construction boom that also saw the erection of the nearby Main Street Theater, the Midland Theater, and Kansas City Power and Light Building. Okay, those are all names that are still extant in one way or another right now in Kansas City in 2023. In 1928, that's 2 years later, it was the headquarters for the 1928 Republican National Convention, which nominated points, if you know which one, buddy.
Herbert Hoover, who also lived in infamy, for president. The hotel's Drum Room Lounge, get this, attracted entertainers, just as my friend just said, such as Frank Sinatra, Benny Goodman, and Marilyn May. Whoa. Who's still with us.
She is not. Is she really?
She is. She's in her 90s. She still plays in New York. Life goals, man. I could be doing this for another 40 years.
Hokey smokes. Well, okay. So at the beginning of 35, January to be exact, a man using the assumed name at the time, but later identified as, I'm sorry to let the cat out of the bag, Artemis Ogletree. And by the way, Artemis Ogletree, what a name. I'm just loving this name.
Like a Dickensian name.
It's very, but there's an Oliver Twist to this story. I'll tell you that. I know. Sorry. All right. He was found severely assaulted in room 1046 after a 2-day stay marked by, to say the least, odd behavior and interactions with a mysterious Dawn. He later died in a hospital, and the case, just let me lay it out for you, I'll just tell you straight up, it still remains to this day, almost 90 years later, something like that?
Yeah.
Unsolved. All right, so the hotel closed in 1980. It went $45 million restoration by developers, yada, yada, yada. So it's still there. You could still go. And again, it is kind of, for Artemis Ogletree, a Hotel California situation. You can check out, but you never leave.
Can I just say something real quick?
That you hate the Eagles?
Well, we knew that, but that's the best part of the Dude movie. Hate the fucking Eagles. Anyway, I like Randy Meisner because he's a Nebraska guy, and I like Don Felder. I have an issue with the two schmoes, and Glenn Fry and Don Henley. They just seem and I'm sorry, I know Glenn Fry is no longer with us, so I won't say anything.
Yeah.
But Don's a little douchey. He's just a douche. Anyway, when I moved here in 1994, the Hotel President was falling apart. There were birds like everywhere. There were homeless people in there. If you had told me that they were going to actually bring it back, and it's lovely. It's whoever, like you said, that redid it. It's a gorgeous building.
Yes.
I've had friends. I've stayed there just for date night with the wife. It's a lovely. I hope I never stayed in 10. Was it 1046? What number?
1046. 1046.
Okay, remind me when I check in next time. I was like, don't give me 1046.
Stay off the 10th floor in general. Yeah, just to underscore that, it closed in 1980, and you're right. So what you said, it underwent $45.5 million in restoration by developer Ron Jury, and reopened in 2005 as the Hilton President, Kansas City, and it's managed by the Jury Hotel Group of Overland Park, Kansas these days. And the general manager's first name is Philip. All right, so, but yeah, good point. It's by the way, little trivia for you. Oh, by the way, these renovations included guest rooms and meeting rooms. I don't know if 1046. I almost called today, but I'm going to leave it to the listeners to check and get back to us through the email. And so, what do you know about this? And have you called? And every listener should call the front desk at the Hotel President and say, is 1046 still the way it was? And is it haunted? That's the question. All right. There's our Halloween episode right there. Boom, I did it. The presidential suite and the Reagan suites, because Ronald Reagan stayed there, were renovated in 2019. It's the only, here's the trivia though, more trivia. It's the only hotel located in the Power and Light District It is a franchise. Okay, but it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1983. So it ain't going anywhere, folks. They can't tear it down now.
Oh, it's lovely.
And it's lovely. Why would you? Okay. All right. Douchiness aside from the Eagles, it's for Artemis though. He never did leave. He was born in Florida in 1915, and he was one of 3 kids. And during his early years, an accident involving hot grease left him with a distinctive hairless scar above his ear. I mean, just a patch, just big. Okay, there's pictures. I'll send pictures to Jamie to put in the show notes, or wherever he's doing this. We don't have a website yet, do we? That's just sorry to interrupt.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. Yeah. Well, I'll happily chip in my part of that. And I'll even run it for you, pal. I do this. I'm good. He's like, get on.
It's still my heart.
I would.
Do it. I love it.
He's got this hairless scar above his ear, which would later, of course, be crucial, I would assume, in identifying him. So in 1934, he left his family. He was in Birmingham, Alabama. He was hitchhiking his way to California, and he kept them, because that's the place you ought to be, by the way. Anyway, he kept them updated through mail, and they wired him money. Okay, so he was in touch with the family. All right, what do we got here already? He was a distinctive looking chap, and his family knew generally his whereabouts because they kept sending him money. Okay, so the type of place that would draw a 19-year-old from Birmingham, Alabama, was, at least along the way, Kansas City. This guy Artemis was known to be kind of an adventurous sort. He left home with a friend named Joe Simpson in April of 34 to hitchhike, and they made it to LA, where they went separate ways, which is interesting. According to Simpson's account, recorded in his letters to a disinterested homicide detective and to Ogletree's very suspicious mother. So, according to Ogletree's mother, Artemis arrived in KC in the middle of August. Okay. At first, he stayed at the St. Regis, which was at the corner of Linwood Boulevard and the Paseo, which I don't know what's there now. You would know better than me. I'm blanking. Probably nothing. Or I'm not sure.
I think it's the oldest street light in the city is there, but there's not much there.
Yeah. And it still stands today. Oh, as it's an apartment complex, but I couldn't tell you which. So at several stops, police later learned Ogletree was in the company of a man who signed the hotel registry as Don Kelso. Okay. So around the start of the new year, his circumstances changed after a short stay at the Mulebach Hotel, another great classic hotel, although it's still a going concern. It's a big one compared to the President. It's not a Marriott. I don't remember what it is, but it was.
If we're doing trivia, that's where Harry Truman, after he found out he'd won in 48, he went to the Mulebach to see his fans and family and friends. That's when they congratulated him and he won, because nobody but Harry thought he was going to win. Only Harry thought he was going to win in 48. So
that guy. All right. So after a short stay there, he checked in at the President in the early afternoon of January 2nd, 1935. So, okay, as I said, January 2nd, 1935, distinctive looking young man walks into the President Hotel in Kansas City. He's dressed well, wearing a dark overcoat, but carrying no bags. He introduces himself as Roland T. Owen from Los Angeles, asking for an interior room on the upper floor. The staff notices he's got a cauliflower ear and that distinctive scar, speculating he might be a boxer or a wrestler. Well, the cauliflower ear is a hallmark of a wrestler or a boxer, but of course the grease scar is not. Randolph Probst, he was a bellhop, escorted Ogletree to, well, of course, he said his name was Owen. Mr. Owen, let's call him that for now, to room 1046, which overlooks the hotel's courtyard. And there's where he unpacked the items I mentioned previously, a hairbrush, a comb, toothpaste, and he placed them neatly above the sink. Now, here's where things get a little strange. Mary, it's either Soptio or Soptic, and I've seen sources say both. We're going to call her Mary the maid for now. Let's just do that. Enters the room to find it dark, with the shades drawn and just one dim lamp on, right? She spots a note on the bedside table. It reads, Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait. Could it be our friend Don Kelso? Don't know. By the way, KC Magazine, I'll give you a link to this, did an incredible story on this. It's a really good up-to-date story, and I've pulled a lot of information from that as well as Wiki and some other places. But so Mary the maid reported that the guest led her into his room and combed his hair while she was cleaning, then left, asking her to leave the door unlocked because he was, quote, expecting a friend in a few minutes, unquote. And she said, my impression of this man from the expression on his face and his actions was that he was either worried about something or afraid. So later that afternoon, Mary the maid returned to the room with towels and found the guest sitting on the bed with the shades drawn and the lights off, fully dressed. He's just sitting there. And remember how he's dressed. This is the 30s, and men are not dressed without a jacket and a tie on, I guess.
Yeah.
I assume when they get up to pee in the middle of the night, they had to put a jacket and tie on, these people. Jeez. So, but he's just sitting there in the gloom, just sitting there. So anyway, so she took care of that and got out of there. So she returned the next morning and found the door locked, but get this, the door was locked from the outside, but the guest was inside, again sitting in the dark. This struck her as odd. Imagine that. Based on the way the locks operate, if the guest had locked the door from the inside, she would not have been able to open the door. Think about it, right?
Right.
Okay. Quote, the man had been locked in the room from the outside, she told police. On the room's writing desk was the note written in pencil that read, Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait. And while she was cleaning, the man received a phone call. He told the caller, who he called Dawn, I don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. I just had breakfast. So when Mary, the maid, returned that same day, hotel housekeepers were apparently far more attentive to towels in those days. I guess that's the thing. I don't know. She heard two men inside the room arguing. Huh? Mm-hmm. And one man she described as having what she called a rough voice, told her that they didn't need any towels, and she left. So according to other witnesses, the arguing continued into the night. A guest later told police that she heard, quote, a lot of noise, unquote, that sounded like both male and female voices, quote, talking loud and cursing. All right. So in the night, the hotel switchboard operator discovered that the phone in the room was off the hook, right? So he dispatched a bellboy to go check on this. Bellboy knocked on the door and was invited by a person with a deep voice to come in, and the door was locked, and the man inside didn't let the bellboy come in. Instead, he just said, turn off the lights or turn on the lights. And the bellboy kept knocking, and the guy never opened the door. And the bellboy just decided he was drunk. Okay. So the phone was left off the hook until the next morning. And when the new phone operator took over that morning on her shift, and around 7:00, they sent up a different bellboy, and he yelled through the door, like, are you all right? Or put your phone back on the hook, that kind of thing. Because apparently, I think it opened us. But back in the day, it's more primitive phone system. If the phone was off the hook, it was constantly buzzing the desk. Maybe that's all I can think of there. But I need to check on that. And it was like, all right, or something like that. But the phone still stayed off the hook. So about 8:30. A guy named Harold Pike was another bellboy, was sent up to check on it again. Nobody answered when he knocked, so he let himself into the room. And the guest was in the bed, okay? Again, like he was, except naked, breathing heavily. And the bellboy said there was a very big dark spot on the sheets, which at first he thought was a shadow. And so he thought, well, okay, this guy's drunk. He's passed out. He put the phone back, and he took off. Okay. A couple hours later, they went back to the room, bellboy did, and the phone again was off the hook. Oh. And they discovered the guest was near the door on his knees with blood pretty efficiently coming out of his head. And the quote was that he'd seen blood on the walls, on the bed, and in the bathroom, the bellboy said that. So he ran downstairs, like you do, to alert the manager, and a doctor and the cops were called, and the doctor got there first, and they got in there to the room, and according to a statement from the doctor later, they found the guest with his legs sticking out of the bathtub. He was in the bathtub with his legs sticking out, and there was a clothesline. Now, you remember they used to have clothesline. Some hotels still do. There's clothesline to hang to dry clothes. Yeah. It was tied around his neck ankles, and wrists. Now, it might have been that clothesline, or it could have been one somebody brought. I don't know, but I assume it's the one that would be in the. And he had been stabbed in the chest more than once. Okay, well, it turns out later that he had a skull fracture. His lung had been punctured, and he had several blows to the head and all this. And based on the blood splatter and the way it was dried and everything, these wounds appeared to be 6 or 7 years old. So according to the police interdepartmental memo, all of the man's gear and clothing were missing from the room, except for a label that apparently was from a cheap necktie, a hairpin, an unsmoked cigarette, and, quote, a glass bearing a woman's fingerprints. Okay. Now, again, part of this is according to Casey Magazine, all props to them, and part of it's according to some other research, which I'm probably mixing and matching in here in the story, but this is generally what it's accepted, what happened. His last words, although some said they really didn't understand what he was saying, it was more like mumbling. The guest who they thought was Roland T. Owen said that nobody had hurt him and that he'd simply fallen against the tub.
And tied himself up?
And tied himself up repeatedly. Okay, well, he was soon comatose and died the next morning. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Are you finding this creepy and strange at all, or?
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, Alex. So, I mean, the fact that he doesn't bring any bags.
Right.
The fact that the phone's off the hook for days. Mm-hmm. The fact that Don just wasn't, somebody's imagination. He was actually there because he was seen and heard. Mm-hmm. The fact that there's a woman involved in some kind of nebulous way, that we have a fingerprint and we heard a voice, but that's, it's very strange. I could see why people, the hotel president, were, worried about this and, wanted to keep following up on it, because it is strange. The fact that anytime you check into a hotel without luggage, it's weird, unless it's one of those places that's by the hour and you're meeting a girl. But otherwise, that alone would set up, some red flags. But yeah, the fact that, if I'd been stabbed and tied up, I'd be like, please help me. Not that I did it to myself. So yes, there's a lot of strange things going on.
There's more.
Good.
Okay. So the autopsy, that they said he died from, well, surprise, surprise, inflicted wounds. The time of death, they kind of guessed from the blood splatter and all that stuff. But this is the thing about the room. Okay. There were no towels in the room. There was no shampoo. There was no soap. I mean, okay, look, I'll cop to it. I always steal the soap and shampoo, but I don't steal the towels. But there's none of that shiz was there. Okay. There were no weapons, and they were ruling out a suicide pretty much. The cops were. Although, if you've listened to previous episodes, the cops back in the day weren't as thorough as they are now. Let's just put it that way.
Well, as we remember, our good friend Johnny Lazia in 1935, that would have been all his friends that apparently showed up to investigate this case. So I don't know how much they were really interested, is I guess what I'm saying, because nobody had paid them off to show up. But
to say that, I knew you'd jump in, because that was, and that episode, was that episode one?
That was number one.
Number one. All right.
No.
Okay. So get this, though. One of the cops, though, did say there is no doubt that someone else is mixed up in this. Well, thank you, Detective Johnson. Very good. Okay. So they started figuring out this was not Ronald T. Owen after they did some detective work checking out LA, and they're like, no, that's not him. They had a lot of false leads. There was some weird media coverage, false identifications, all this stuff you would expect from a sensational case like this. The media got a hold of this and made it the cause celeb for a while. So they get close on some stuff, but nothing ever panned out. Okay.
And he's a John Doe still, right? Because he's using
basically
the name.
Right. He's basically a JD. And so the case returned to the papers, though. Okay, remember, this was January. On March 3rd, when the funeral home where the body had been announced, it would be burying the man in Potter's Field the next day, right? So that day, they got a phone call from a man who asked that the funeral be delayed so they could send the funeral home the money for a grave and service at Memorial Park Cemetery in KCK. So the caller said that the dead man could be, quote, near his sister.
Weird.
The funeral director warned the caller he would have to tell the police about the call, and the caller said he knew, and that did not bother him. When the funeral director asked why Ogletree had been killed, according to the caller, Ogletree had had an affair with one woman while engaged to marry another. And the caller and the two women had apparently arranged the encounter with him at the president in order to exact revenge. Quote, cheaters usually get what's coming to them, unquote, the caller said and hung up. Okay, so they postponed the funeral service, and on March 23rd, they got a delivery envelope and carefully lettered using a ruler, apparently. This is, again, according to reports that were covered by the KC magazine piece, with $25, which is about $500 in current dollars, okay? That's not to sneeze at. Wrapped in newspaper, it was enough to cover the expenses, sender unknown. Okay, 2 additional envelopes with $5 apiece were sent to a local florist for an arrangement of 13 American Beauty roses to go with the grave after a similar call was made to them. Both those calls turned out to have been made from payphones. They figured that out, which is interesting. Included with the payment was a card with disguised handwriting, probably that they're going out of their way to make it block handwriting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, not that I know how that's done. But anyway, so they did the funeral, but the block handwriting said "Love Forever, Louise."
Okay.
So the only attendees were police detectives and the minister, who actually served as pallbearers. They had now. Let's give props though to the cops. Though we slammed them a little. Let's get this. They actually had some cops pose as grave diggers to stake out the gravesite to see if they could catch anybody. Let's give them that. Let's give them that.
a show?
No.
Okay.
So several days later, right? Somebody calls the old. It's gone now. Of course, the Star is almost there too. The Kansas City Journal-Post newsroom to inform them that their earlier story that the dead man from room 1046 would be buried in a pauper's grave was incorrect. That he had in fact been given a formal funeral. She said the funeral home and flower shop could verify it. They said, "Well, who are you?" And she just said, "Quote, never mind. I know what I'm talking about." And they kept asking, and she said, "He got into a jam." And hung up.
So you got both men and women making anonymous phone calls. It's just not one person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Okay, kind of finally found a kernel of truth, though, on a Sunday newspaper supplement. Okay, this is the great thing. A simple photograph led, sorry, Mom, Ruby Ogletree to identify the man as Artemis, her son. But even then, there's more questions because letters arriving after his confirmed death, wild telephone conversations, and unverifiable trips to far-off lands all mixed into an intoxicating brew of uncertainty and conjecture on this thing. It's just like it kept going. So through conversations with Ruby Ogletree, his mom, the cops established about the third hotel room, the St. Regis, because remember, he was getting money from home, right? So she had an idea, right? So there he had shared a room with another man. Whether that had been Dawn could not be established. But in 1937, this is almost 2 years later, the New York City PD arrested a man named Joseph Martin, on a murder charge after he killed a man he shared a room with and put the body in a trunk to be shipped to Memphis. And among his aliases, more than one, he was found to have used the name Donald Kelso. So, according to the story about the case in the New Yorker, KCPD took handwriting samples from him and to the letters written to the letters written to Ruby. They compared those. Well, no charges were filed, and the police kept the case open. The files show that different detectives reviewed the case every few years. It was probably just became one of those, oh, here, rookie, we got this case that we couldn't figure out, So throughout until the 50s, and every time they noted they'd keep the case open and follow up, but no new evidence was uncovered, so it went cold.
Mm-hmm.
But get this. A local historian named John Horner, he was at the Kansas City Public Library. He got a call from someone from out of state, and they said that they'd been helping inventory, I guess, a estate sale of an elderly person who had recently died. And among them was a shoebox, which turned out to be filled with newspaper clippings related to the Artemis Ogleby case. All right. So, according to them, one item mentioned in the newspaper stories, the caller identified neither themselves nor the item. Horner did not make this public until the conclusion. He did some blog posts about it on their blog in like 2012, but he didn't find any. He had some more details, but again, no, it didn't corroborate anything. It didn't change things much. But there you go.
What year was this, Alex?
23 or 2004 was when
Wow.
John Horner got the call. So, I mean, this is a long time, right?
Yeah, 70 years.
70 something years.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of theories going around, okay? So basically, we don't know. They think the call's alleging Ogletree was killed in retaliation for his broken engagement. A lot of people think that. I think this one's, I don't know. Organized crime been considered because Don can be a title for a mafia boss, but that's stupid. I'm sorry. I think that's idiotic. I'm sorry. If you guys believe that, I'm sorry. And then it would suggest that Don, whoever he was, killed Ogletree for some personal reason, either with the help, because there was apparently a commercial woman, as they called her, went up in an elevator to a floor. They don't know she went to his room or not. There's a lot of confusion there. There's a lot, in my opinion, there's a lot of confabulation, and it's all like the Kennedy assassination. All of a sudden, you're starting to see things that probably aren't there, but whatever. But it was an elevator operator who saw that person, the commercial woman. That's just by the way she was dressed. And I don't know if that means lady of the night or just means she was dressed like somebody who works, like a real job. I don't know. So they confirmed because of the weird scar and Ruby from Alabama. They figured out it was Artemis Ogletree. But there's just so many layers of intrigue still left in this thing. And I have a little bit of a theory, but I'm sure it's not right. But ultimately what we get down to is that this very young man who wanted adventure, got the adventure of his young life in room 1046 of the President Hotel.
Well, so what's your best guess, man? I mean, I know
Honestly,
you don't know. I mean, but what would your guess be?
Crimes of passion are usually not done the way he died. He was obviously tortured before he was killed.
Yeah.
That's not a crime of passion. Crime of passion is just like in your heat of the moment, you kill somebody, you don't mean to, but you do. You hit him too hard, you do shoot him or you stab him, but it's like one time. It's not this long drawn out deal, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that's true. Maybe I'm wrong. And if you email us at goingkillingcity@gmail if you have a theory. But I think it's one of two things. I think it could be that this guy was he scorned the wrong woman, and that this guy Don was a brother-in-law, or somebody who want to teach this guy a lesson, and maybe things got a little too rough and he ended up killing the guy. Or, I'm wondering if it wasn't really just some pretty kinky sex that went the wrong way.
Yeah, because I'm like, is he gay? Which
he could be.
I don't care. Like Seinfeld episode. Not that there's anything wrong with it. In the 1930s, it was you could not be out in the open about being gay. So that's something. But then there's a woman involved too. So it makes you wonder, just KCPD, did they keep the glass? I guess not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And the potential homosexual angle there, considering 1935, the idea that he left town, mm-hmm. Perhaps he was just going somewhere where nobody knew him and he could pursue interests. I don't know. But to me, that's one of the two things that could have happened. But and folks, there are details I've probably missed in the interest of time, although my evil twin will be like, really? You went on a long time. But I'm just saying there's a lot there. I'm going to give, again, I'll send the link to for the show notes, but there is a link. The Kansas City Magazine article is really good. The Wikipedia page is good. There's been a number of believe it or don't, true. Imagine this, dude, true crime podcasts that have covered this one. I did not listen to them because I can do my own research and I don't want to be, tainted by them. And there's the one on BuzzFeed. Do not watch it. It's these two dorks. They think they're really clever and they're trying to be funny, and it's not. But there are some others that probably look pretty good. I don't know. Did you find it creepy or weird, or what did you think?
Well, absolutely. And I'd actually heard of this case a little bit.
I figured. Yeah.
And I almost thought about doing it, and the only reason I didn't do it is because we've done we've done
the 30s. Yeah,
I had. So it's not shame on you because your cases had been up, but I'd done a 1930s case, so I was like, well, I might do it at some point. It's a fascinating case because I think anytime something's unsolved, whether it's the Kennedy assassination or whatever, where you don't know definitively, people want to know. It bothers people because they don't know. There's enough weirdness to it that makes you wonder too, like whether it's the tying up, whether it's somebody answering the door. Who locked him in? That's another weird thing. Like, there's a lot of weirdness to it. And it's another. I mean, we've had some really iconic places in this town where we've discussed murders. I don't think whether you're going into the Ambassador or the Hotel President or Union Station, most people have any idea that some of the weirdest, strangest murders in this town happened in these places.
Absolutely. I found it intriguing. I this was not the first time I'd heard about this story. I'd actually come across it a long time ago because I was so intrigued by the Hotel President.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was, I'd gone there a couple of times. I thought, oh, that's so cool. So I Googled it, and then on like the wiki listing for the president, there's a paragraph about this. And I read about it. And that had to have been, 10 years ago that I read that. And then when we started this up, I said to myself, there's something about the Hotel President. I got to figure that out. And I found it. And I went, oh, yeah. But I called this no-tell motel as your clue because nobody could tell what happened to the guy. No, There was no tell, right? There's no telling what happened. Get it? Sorry. But anyway, let's see. Now it's kind of semi-cute. Maybe not. I don't know.
I should have gone. If I'd known, I would have gone to the Hotel President, down to the drum room and figured out what their signature cocktails are. But I didn't know.
Well, it's a conceit of the show that we don't know. And it's a pity. You're right. We could do that. We should have done that.
I think we need to go to all these places and have cocktails. That's what I think.
I'm open. Let's do it. I think we also I have a mini that's a decent Tascam recorder. We could even just record little snippets there. That not making a big deal. Just just record a few moments there and just say something, because I think we ought to. I think we well, actually, we're not talking about this yet, are we? But we've got some ideas about looking around. I don't know what to say on this.
I will put a challenge to our listeners. Somebody stay in 1046. Let us know how it goes.
Let us know how it goes.
I'm not going to do it.
Well, you're not going to do it with me, I guess. That's the real thing.
I'm not going to do it with anybody.
Somebody's going to kill
I have
you.
no problem falling asleep. I don't need to be laying there thinking about that.
It's funny. There's another show, and my neighbor has done it for a few years, and they're really good. It's a great show. It's called The Tipsy Ghost, and they're ghost hunters, and they do that stuff. But they're really good. They're local and they're funny. I'm going to ask her. I should have done this. I sat next to her at a volleyball game yesterday. I should have asked her about that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will text her after the show, and if you hear back from me, you'll know. Maybe you want to put it in a note if she knows anything about it. But I'll just ask if she's ever stayed there and had any ghost things, because that might be fun. But again, listeners, if we don't have a link in there because we didn't find anything or she hadn't been there, you got to listen to Tipsy Ghost for Halloween. Since we're not really doing a Halloween episode, go to the Tipsy Ghost. Although my show Mysterious Goings On, we'll be doing Halloween themed stuff all month of October.
Now, because you're nuts about Halloween.
It's my Christmas. I'm that guy. I have that house. What is your Christmas? St. Patrick's Day? No,
actually 4th of July. I mean, I love Christmas. I love Halloween and stuff. I like 4th of July because there's no family obligation whatsoever. So I'm not going to have any weird aunts and uncle of my wife showing up.
Oh my God.
Nobody has to make anything. I don't have to buy anything. I just eat and drink too much and shoot shit off. So that's what makes me happy.
That is so you. That is so me. Jamie Green right there. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I love how, Halloween was my dad's birthday. So it's always got a little special place in my heart.
That's right. Well, one of the first times we ever really bonded besides the gym where we initially met, we met at the kickboxing gym. But after that, you invited me over to one of your Halloween parties. So it was always fun.
We still do them. We had to take a break. I don't want to guess why, but we have started them up again. So
it rhymes with
this is cool.
Novid.
So folks need to let's grow the podcast, because I'd be willing to we should do a little vignette of all these places. There's some pretty iconic places in Kansas City. We're only 6 episodes in, and we've already discussed some really interesting places in this town.
Yeah. Well, we might do some media talking about the show. You hinted about that.
I'm working on it.
You're working that? Okay.
I'm working it. We should.
Yeah. But oh my gosh. Look, we do have some plans to do some fun stuff. We're not going to give it away here now, but if we can get our listenership up just a skosh more, and we can get more engagement, like we'd love to get before the end of the year 5 more reviews on Apple.
Absolutely.
And we are considering, I will say this, I already kind of mentioned it, unless you cut this out. And so We are considering doing a live streaming episode for Christmas. So, but you all have to promise you'll tune in. It won't be, don't worry, it won't be hours and hours and hours. It'll just be a good half hour, and we'll make drinks and tell funny stories and all that stuff. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
If we can schedule it, and there's no new, COVID disaster or something.
So.
I know. I shouldn't tempt fate.
Nope. Don't do it. I just say thank God for Paxlovid. It was a lifesaver. That would be my.
Yeah, I'm glad you could get it, brother.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fabulous. So, show notes, we put it all on there. Please email us. Tell us what you want to hear. We will be back in October. We're going to have to actually tape this before I go to Ireland, because it's going to come out right when I get back, and I'm going to be too tired, probably hungover. Are you gonna do a Halloween party even, or are you not doing? Oh, I'm doing a Halloween party. That'll be happening.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna do my best.
We'll be back in October, and I get to host. I will say I love both of these. It's always fun to see you, and it's always good to hang out. Is more relaxing when you just make the drink and you just sit there. I mean, it is.
Yeah, because you're not doing what I was doing today, like in between work stuff, going, oh God, I got to rehearse and make sure this makes sense. Oh my God, yeah. But it's fun. But once you get into it, and of course, here's the thing, and I'll say this, my brother, and then I'll shut up. But you're always a great attentive listener when it's my turn to talk, and I do appreciate that, and it gives me encouragement to do my best. So I appreciate this. It's 6 episodes in, and I have so much fun. I'm so glad you came up with this idea. It's a blast.
No, it's a great time, and you and I hanging out, shooting the shit, and having a cocktail like that never goes wrong. That's always a good idea.
That's always been our thing too, really. Once we stopped going to the same gym because you hurt your knee and that was the end of it, you were basically done, and it was like, oh shit, I'm never going to see him again.
You mean when the 25-year-old guy told me it was not that big of a deal, and I was like, pretty big deal when you're like, at the time 49 years old. Yeah,
do those box jumps. Gotta
have meniscus surgery, buddy. See, you do a box jump when you're my age. If you'd only done it a little better, you probably wouldn't have. It's like I didn't tweak it. I can tell I tore something. I mean, when you start getting to the point where you're modifying every single workout because something hurts, 9 rounds, I'm having to do it different.
Yeah.
But no, I got to meet you, so it was cool. So
100%. I kept seeing you wearing all this Nebraska stuff, and I lived in Nebraska. I'm an OU guy, but there's respect there, and I kept seeing that. And we're close to the same age, and you brought your son in a couple of times, and I was just like, I don't know. I think you spoke to me first, but it was good.
You had a police T-shirt on, so that did it.
Boom. That was kind of what you call a meet cute, folks.
Look at that guy. He likes the police. All right. Are you ready for
Here we go. What's my clue? All right, wait. Yep. Well, I don't have a pen, but that's okay.
That's why we tape these. You can listen to
it. Wait. I do. Look, listen. And I actually brought note paper this time, so I don't have to go back and remind myself. All right, I am furiously ready. Go.
1970, East Side Tavern. 1970, East Side Tavern.
Oh my goodness, 1970 East Side Tavern. By the way, every time we do this, I still think of Karnak.
Well, of course.
All right, 1970 East Side Tavern. I will come up with a concoction. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. And email us, share, give us a review. It all helps. We love doing this, but having people listen and enjoy it. My mother-in-law, who can't figure out anything, she says she's down for this, but Kelly's going to have to go over there and show her. She doesn't have any idea what a podcast is, so we have. But
once they know, they know. And what's that email address again? Because people won't go look. What's the email address?
It is killingcitypod.
Gmail.com.
We're very popular with everybody trying to say. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
We can join a master class. We can unlock our Killing City potential with this gross scorecard. We can personalize our Spotify presence.
Oh my!
This is my favorite one. You work in PR. Don't let going to Killing City fail with a sad emoji with a tear. Thanks for that positive feedback, Jennifer.
Wow.
Way to sell it.
Yeah. Okay. Or basically just say it. Puppies will die if you don't get enough downloads. I mean,
oh my God. You mean like when Nancy Pelosi used to email me 37 times a day? You'd be like, if you don't answer today.
Or we will match your donation by 1,000%. I'm like, well, if you're going to match it that much, you don't really need my donation then, do you?
No. That's why I started putting my dog's name on everything. So then if I see something's for Noah, that is bullshit, then I don't have to read it.
But what if it is actually something for Noah? What if it's Noah Oglesby or Ogletree from Alabama? It's his mom or something trying to reach him.
So is he still buried here, Alex, before we go? Or did they take the body back to Alabama? Do we know?
I could not find anything that said he was exhumed. I think he must have, you know what? That could be a road trip right there. Go to KCK and go and find him. We should do that.
And it's KCK. It's not independent, so I can do
it. We won't go alone. Oh my God. Yeah. Hi, Terry. We won't go alone either. It'll be you, me, and Elijah Craig. We'll all three go.
In the daylight.
Yes. And then you'll go home, and then I'll go to room 1046, and we'll see what happens.
All right. That's the challenge before we go. Somebody, hotel, the Hilton President, which is a Hilton, stay in 1046. Let us know. And I will say before we go real quick, the ballroom where they actually had the convention is still there. It's a very pretty ballroom. It's on the top floor. If nothing else, go down, have a cocktail. Say you listen to this fabulous podcast, heard all about the story, and maybe they'll throw us a shekel or two for the free publicity.
I think they should just invent a drink in our honor at the very least at the bar. Seriously.
Sounds good. All right. Until next month. Stay safe, people. Don't check into 1046. That's all we got.
Stay out of that. See you later, brother. Have a good one.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.